Hey guys, what's up? So we have an update on Advanced Server and it's patch 1.7.30. First is the adjustment on Faramis. Allies who move out of his ultimate range will lose the effect just like this. They need to be near Faramis to take advantage of his HP shield. Faramis can go near them, but they have to follow him. Previously, once you receive the buff, it doesn't matter where you go. But now, you have to watch where Faramis will go so that you don't lose the buff. This is a big nerf to his ultimate, but to balance, they will adjust his other skills. His skill 1 now has a shorter cooldown, while his second skill now has better damage. Is it enough to put Faramis out of the ban section? Next is the adjustment on Minotaur. His ultimate will now have CC immunity when casting. This is everyone's wish, right? To balance, they added a bit of delay before the knock-up effect. It will give enemies a chance to escape. His passive now gains lesser rage points when receiving damage, and they remove the rage points he gets when healing. This will make storing rage points slightly harder. The only good side is that his ultimate is now immune to CC effect. Next is the buff on Granger. They think his jungling capability is still weak, so they added more damage to his first skill. This buff only applies to his damage against jungle creeps. Next is the buff on Lapulapu. They increased the damage scaling of his first skill by 15%. Cooldown of his second skill is now shorter in the early levels, and higher defense boost during his ultimate form. Next is the revamped Hanabi. Her second skill now leaves a mark on the enemies like this. Marked targets will receive the full damage of her bouncing basic attacks. Remember, her basic attack damage gets lower as more targets are hit. But if you place a mark on them, they will receive full damage. They also updated her first skill. It now gives attack speed and movement speed upon activation. And the CC immunity is still there, while the shield is active. I guess she's better now compared last week, right? Next is the nerf on Gusion. They lowered the damage of his enhanced basic attack by 1% of the target's missing HP. Skill 2 damage is also nerfed with a lower base and attack scaling. Next is the nerf on Atlas. He's getting a bit popular right now, so they are lowering his defense boost from his passive. I think it's a way to give other tanks a chance to shine. Next are the adjustments on Eve. They canceled the damage buff on her first skill and replaced it with a stronger slow effect on her second skill. It can now slow up to 80%. Her ultimate up damage is lowered, but they improved its crowd control effect. The immobilize will now last for 0.8 seconds, while the slow is higher at 80%. So Eve now has less damage but with stronger crowd control skills. Next is Baxia. They increase his life drain effect from 30 to now 50%. That means if you add Necklace of Durance or Dominance Eyes, you can lower the enemy's HP and shield by 75%. Here is an example. So my normal heal is 501. With Baxia's skill, it became 250. This time, Baxia is using Necklace of Durance from 250 down to 125. So, from the initial 501, it became 125. Good news for Baxia, but bad news for heal and shield-based heroes. Next is the buff on Vexana. They shortened the cooldown of her ultimate in the late stages of the game. That's minus 14 seconds at skill level 3. Next is the nerf on Melissa. Longer cooldown of her second skill. That's an additional 1 second on all levels. Next is the nerf on Aulus. His second skill now has a longer cooldown and weaker heal. They also lowered the bonus stats from his passive. Next is the buff on Edith. They increased the conversion ratio of her defense into magic power. This means higher damage when in ultimate form. Next is the item Queen's Wings. They removed the 15 physical attack and replaced it with 5% spell vamp. HP is also adjusted from 900 to 1000 points. Next is the adjustment on the gold lane tower in Mythic Battlefield. It now gives 5% more damage reduction. This means more survivability for those mythic marksmen. Last one is the new feature where you can show your history only to your friends. No more hiding from your duo partners. So what can you say about the update? Do you like the new Queen's Wings? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.